Hey everyone, I'm Luke and I'm working on a strategy RPG game called Firetale. And this is a devlog for the game. I just am going to talk briefly about really one thing that I've been working on a lot, which is a basic responsive UI. One goal for this game was really that it could translate well from desktop to mobile, and that I, as the developer, wouldn't have to do a ton really to make it work on both platforms, at least from a usability standpoint, right? There will be a few little things that we need to do related to handling, touch gestures on a mobile device. Very different than using a mouse to do things like zoom and pan. But from a UI standpoint, I wanted the UI to be responsive. I didn't want to have to create two different UI controllers essentially to basically handle all of the menus that you're going to have in a strategy RPG game. So what I want to do is I actually just want to show you kind of what I've done here. This will probably be a shorter one. I'm not going to dive into the code too much. If you're interested in the code, let me know, and I can definitely do another video that discusses it. I'm going to have Firetale in windowed mode here. Usually I don't do that in the videos, but I will this time so that I can actually shrink it down and show you the responsiveness of the UI. You probably remember some of the UI, especially down here, the location panel, right? I've cleaned this up quite a bit. I've made it smaller and more concise. Just a little rundown. Top left, you have the level of the area you're on. Right now we're on this tower area. Obviously, if I move around a little bit here, levels change and stuff. You also have the name of the area, which eventually will have kind of intelligent name generation, at least for towns and stuff like that. But right now everything just has a generic name. And then we have the temperature of the area. And if you've seen my devlogs on Twitter, you would know that this temperature icon actually changes depending on the temperature of the area that you're in. I can even show that real quick. If I click over into the Arctic area over here, you'll see the temperature icon went down because the temperature is much lower. Down here are actually the area's attributes. Okay, so right now we're not really generating a ton of attributes, but eventually we will. So this tower has combat and hunting. And what we did was actually, when you click on these, you open up a panel where you can actually interact with that area's particular attribute that the panel is for, right? Really, it's like a tab type system. This panel up on the top right is actually new. So this is the player panel. And I'll just give another quick rundown here. So top left, we have the level of the player and an icon representing the player's, class. So in this case, I'm like a wizard or something like that. I don't know exactly what we'll call the classes in Firetale just yet, but like a wizard class here. And then the top right is your health, right? And it's your actual health over your max health. Just like the location panel, right here we have tabs for different player panels, right? So I can pop open my inventory, for example. This is just a mock-up. There's no functionality tied to this inventory panel right now, but I added some stuff in there just so that I could actually start playing with content in these menus. Now, I want to show you the responsive nature of this UI. This is really what I was talking about at the beginning of this video. If I squeeze this window down, after a certain width, everything snaps, right? We actually snap to full width mode for these panels at the top and the bottom. Cool thing is, on my end in Godot, I don't actually have like a separate panel that handles this, right? I basically reparent these child panels, the location panel and the player panel, to a new like max width with margin parent node. Okay, and then I have to do some funky stuff with click through margins and stuff like that, so that even when it's responsive, you can still actually move the game around and interact with it. But if I squeeze this down a little bit more, I think it looks best when it's squeezed down a little bit more. You can see here that I can still open up my panels, right? And actually I can open up two at a time. Let's say that I was fighting an enemy right here. I might want to have my inventory open so that I could be eating food, for example. Or I might want to have my stats menu open so that I could be making sure that some of my special levels weren't getting drawn down. Maybe I was poisoned or something like that, right? All of this works if you turn off certain ones, the other ones expand. All of this is really just leveraging Godot's built-in UI control mechanisms. So what they allow us to do is they allow us to set things to be expandable, which means they'll fill the max amount of space they can. And if there's multiple components, they will auto balance their height or their width, depending on what expand properties are set within the space allotted. So honestly, really simple to make in Godot, and it was actually really fun to make. So pretty excited, pretty happy that we're not gonna have to do anything special to make this game run on mobile, other than the one thing that I haven't done yet is I have not yet coded for touch gestures, which there's some technical challenges with doing that I'll have to overcome, but they're not stuff that's unheard of, you know. It's not as simple as you might think. I learned that when I was looking around the internet a little bit. But yeah, that is really all I wanted to show you all. The gist here is that we are making progress. And so subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to me on Twitter, follow me on itch.io as well. That's where I'm posting updates. And I'll make sure that you all are kept up to date with developments here. So thanks for watching.